Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. It is Friday, right before the Caleb Plant Anthony DIrrell fight. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know what? haNZAGod has topped himself. He's a highlight YouTuber, a must-watch. His latest video is on one of my favorite fighters, Toney. It's in my favorites folder right now. The name of the video is Toney Counterpunching Masterclass. Please look at that video. Here we talk about certain skills. Now, Toney is certainly an expert's counterpuncher. He's a masterful counterpuncher. Tony's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. But what I want people to do looking at the video, because I have a phrase I say here online all the time. I say, he can hide his upper body, right? While you're looking at the dazzling counterpunching against guys like Iran Barkley, Michael Nunn. If you're of a certain age, these are big names. Understand, many of the guys in the Toney video are A-listers or were A-listers in their prime. What I want you to do is to look at how Toney, deep in the pocket, can hide his head, can roll his upper body. In other words, he's not backing away a lot and stuff like that. No, the guy is in the pocket. He's moving his head. He can roll his upper body, and he sees what you're throwing. Right? Folks, literally, because he's in the Hall of Fame, literally, this is Hall of Fame stuff. This is a unique skill set. Unique. Where a guy is what I call defensively blessed. Right? Toney has his upper body on a swivel. Understand, this is skill. Right? Physically, Toney isn't that fast-handed. Physically, although his nickname is Lights Out, Toney isn't that big a puncher. But he has his skills and timing down to the point where, against very good defensive fighters, right? Michael Nunn was hard to hit. Toney is landing flush. Please look at the video. With regard to this weekend for the gamblers, right? The bet I like the most is Anthony DIrrell over Caleb Plant. Now, I know DIrrell has given some interviews that are troubling. Right? He says, I need to see whether I still have it. If you're a gambler, you're thinking, what? DIrrell has doubts about whether he still has it? Just understand, though, the styles don't match up well here. DIrrell's going to be on his front foot. DIrrell is a warrior. Caleb Plant is going to be on his back foot. DIrrell can take a beating. He has a chin on him. Caleb Plant doesn't punch that hard. Right? I believe DIrrell is going to make this tough on not only Plant, but on the judges. You're getting better than 5-1 odds. I'll be the casino's huckleberry on that. I view this as a relatively even fight. They're going to give me great odds. Okay, I'll take the former champion. Right? They're both former champions. I'll take the one on his front foot. Let's switch up gears here. I know many people here feel that Savannah Marshall is going to shut up Claressa Shields. Right? Claressa Shields has a problem many great fighters have. Whether it's Ali, whether it's Floyd Mayweather, right? There is a solid block in the public. We'll put it at least 20%. who believe she's overhyped. I'm guessing as I say that word, some of you are nodding your heads. Right? I can tell you in the 70s, we kept hearing that Ali was overhyped. Right? Ali was supposed to be the champ from the 60s. Right? I can tell you, Bob Foster, Hall of Famer, great light heavyweight champion, fought Joe Frazier. Had nothing but positive things to say about Joe Frazier's punching power. I can tell you that when he fought Ali, even though Ali knocked him out, he said Ali was hitting him with pillow punches. Right? You had a lot of people who were saying Ali didn't have power and stuff like that. But yet, Ali was fighting guys like Joe Frazier in the Thriller in Manila. And the fight doesn't go the distance. Ali fought George Foreman. The fight doesn't go the distance. Ali fought Ernie Shavers. Right? He fought Ken Norton several times. Norton beats him the first time. I know the Yankee Stadium fight is close. Let's just say, against the Ken Norton, if you just went the distance with Norton, that's an accomplishment. Well, understand, Claressa Shields, in my opinion, has one of the best jabs in boxing. She's much faster. Let me repeat that. Much faster than Savannah Marshall. Right? Just like you notice in the James Toney video, the haNZAGod video, the nuances of the sport. Pay close attention to where Claressa Shields is in the ring against Savannah Marshall. Right? She's going to make sure she's not trapped on the ropes. She's so much faster than Savannah Marshall, I'm expecting her to be first, to not even wait to counter. She can stick that jab out there. Right? Literally, just stick the jab out there. Have it pumping. And be able to just throw the punch, then move. Throw the punch, then move. Right? In many ways, in my opinion, this fight is kind of like Ali Liston, the first fight. Big puncher everyone thinks is going to win. But yet Liston couldn't land. And keep in mind, unlike Savannah Marshall, Liston had a great jab that he could throw from distance. Right here, Savannah Marshall doesn't even have the jab. So let me say this. Right? If the fight goes as I think it's going to go, and I know the casinos have it pretty even, Claressa Shields is going to force Savannah Marshall to move more than she wants to. And as these slugger types move, the more they move, the more their defense degrades. Right? So, for Savannah Marshall to be successful, she's going to have to land heavy shots early. I mean early. Because if we get to the second half of the fight, and if Claressa Shields is still relatively fresh, I think you're going to start to see marks on Savannah Marshall's face. I think Savannah Marshall is going to start to get hit with even more punches in the later rounds than she got hit with in the early rounds. Right? I'm expecting Shields to win this going away. I wouldn't even be surprised if Shields, like Ali, against Bob Foster, right, starts to make the punches count, starts to sit down on her punches in the second half of the fight in an effort to try to get a stoppage. Right? Understand, we think all these people have no punches, right? We thought Ali didn't have a punch. Right? Even though he stops, think about it. Liston, he stops Foreman, right? Think about that. I'm just telling you, in a fight like this, Marshall's only chance, right? Even where they're fighting, Marshall's only chance is a knockout. That's how I see it. We'll see if I'm right. I'll make a post-fight video either way. Rest assured on that. But just to understand, I think speed, I think jab, I think the fact that Claressa Shields doesn't have to have a pocket set up to be effective is going to help her win that fight, right? As for those of you who want to see a pocket setup where a fighter is extremely effective, look at the James Toney film. But understand, boxing is rock, paper, scissors. As brilliant, and I do mean brilliant, as James Toney was in the pocket, he couldn't handle a guy with blinding hand speed and legs. He couldn't handle a guy who was a better athlete than him, who refused to stay in the pocket. Right? The problem with being a very highly skilled counter puncher who's not athletically blessed is that against an athlete who could throw punches from long range, who had ring coverage, and who could get in, throw some quick punches, right? The enemy of great counter punching is hand speed. Right? Against a hand speed blessed Roy Jones, Toney fell apart. Right? That was the problem with James Toney. If you were in the pocket, even a Michael Nunn, you were in trouble against Toney. Whether you were righty or lefty, you were in trouble against Toney. But if you were a mover, right? Really an Ali type, that would destabilize Toney. I believe movement is going to destabilize Savannah Marshall. Those are my views on some weekend fights. Let me hear from you, and please check out the James Lights Out Toney video done by haNZAGod. Let me also pub haNZAGod. He has videos of several world-class fighters. Right? If you haven't, please introduce yourself to Salvador Sanchez, right? Who, ironically, was Roy Jones's idol. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me hear from you. By the way, as you introduce yourself to Salvador Sanchez, please look at what Azuma Nelson was doing against him. In other words, some guys in the sport are so good that as you're looking at their highlights, you realize the guy they're fighting is elite. Thanks for stopping by.